Hey guys, welcome to the Dawg House Podcast. Georgia loses another win to Alabama. We discuss it. Kirby 1-6. Kalen DeBoer is now 1-0. What will Georgia do next? What's next? Roller coaster ride. Just a tease, man. Teasing us again. We'll get into that. Got Blake Lane from the Up-Tempo Podcast. We discuss Georgia versus Auburn, preview and prediction. Big question is Hugh Freeze on the hot seat? That's the big question, coming off bad loss against Oklahoma, 2-3. And we also talk about Blake's most hated rival. Is that Georgia or Alabama? To like, subscribe, share the podcast. That really helps out. Welcome to the Dawg House Podcast. We got Blake Lane from the Up-Tempo Podcast. We met him through the college huddle. He's given us some great time here. How are we doing today, Blake?
I'm doing well, Trey. Glad to be on and talk a little Auburn football. I know it's tough times up in Lee County right now, but got to head to Athens and play a football game against your Dogs, who are coming off a loss in Tuscaloosa, a hard-fought loss, and I'm sure your Dogs are going to be fired up, ready to play this big-time rivalry.
Yes, sir. Well, but we'll jump right in. So Alabama defeats Georgia, heartbreaking 41-34 loss. Everybody's saying tale of two halves. So first off, watch the Georgia Sports Bar in Charlotte, North Carolina here, and everybody's rocking and rolling, and then Alabama just comes out and punches them in the mouth. We like curled up. I don't know. I had a guy on last night, Derek Dog there, and he was giving an analogy. Felt like this was Rocky IV when Ivan Drago came out and just knocked him down every round, put the whooping on him. He did not deserve to be in the ring with him, and then Georgia rallied. But looking at the stats, we couldn't do anything. Carson Beck looked lost. I think at one time 5 of 15, 2 picks, 42%. I was texting, telling everybody in the bar, man, sitting down, put Gunner Stockton in. And Georgia just getting rolled on offense. Couldn't stop Jalen Milroe. Also wanted to say apologize to all of the Alabama fans that blew me up on Instagram. Actually, we're talking about things going viral. I did just a reel of like a Trey's take afterwards, and I got 42,000 views. Currently, Instagram went crazy. I was calling him Jalen Milroe, and I have 100 people probably, correct me. So I apologize. Yeah. Jalen Milroe for everyone. Maybe it was my Georgia accent there. But I digress. But just couldn't get anything going. 30-7 at halftime. Mm-hmm. Kirby was just getting out-coached by Kalen DeBoer. And now Kalen DeBoer is 1-0 against him. That's a whole other topic. And everybody knows he's 1-6. But and then slowly Georgia started chipping away. And I'm looking for a moral victory there. 30-15. Mm-hmm. Late in the third, get up 30-22, and it's like, man, it's getting kind of close here. And I just want to know why we couldn't have made those adjustments in the first half on Milroe. And then Ryan Williams is another one, freaky freak. I mean, that kid's special. Devontae Smith-esque. He's as advertised. I will say this, though. He had on the little writing here, kill everybody. It's a little aggressive, just saying. You got Tim Tebow, got Bible verses. But, hey, anyway, if that's what motivates him. But Georgia somehow didn't deserve it, gets back in the game, and was up for 13 seconds, I believe. And then they go and throw a haymaker and a long bomb, and that looked like a video game. He made our two DBs follow all over each other like a playground. But Alabama gets the win. They deserve to get it, but Georgia showed grit and resilience, everything else. Also back to Carson Beck. I don't really know what to think about him anymore. 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, 439 yards is padded. Yeah. 3 of 15 on third down, which is crazy, but 5 of 5 on fourth down. And I know we were coming from behind, so he had to add extra down, so that might have had something to do with it. But Georgia loses a heartbreaker 41-34. I don't really know where they go from here, but only dropped down to 5th in the rankings. It's a marathon this year, not a sprint. My initial with this brutal schedule is 10-2. But what's your feedback coming from a neutral Auburn fan?
My feedback is I think the mentality of the Georgia program, it showed Saturday night. You're down 30-7 going into the half, and you come out and you scratch, you fight, you claw, and you find your way back into a football game. I thought they did a great job on converting fourth downs, going 100%. Uh, they, Kirby put the foot on the gas, man, and once they got it to that 30-15, I know they gave up the long play and Alabama got the field goal, but their 2-point conversions were on point. They just found a way, and that's the mentality of the program, and that's what kind of coach he is. I felt like Alabama confused Carson Beck in the first half. I felt like they had him rattled. I feel like Alabama's D line played really well in the first half, and you slowly started to see Georgia kind of take over in the second half a little bit and start kind of leaning on Alabama. I guess Alabama was getting a little fatigued. It seemed like they were on the field a lot in the second half, and Georgia started running the ball really well in that second half, and I think Carson. I know I expected more out of him in the first half, but I give credit to Kane Womack too. First year DC, used to be the head coach down here in Mobile, Alabama, at South Alabama. He really disguised some things up and between zone and man, and he put a lot of pressure on Carson Beck. But I think he bounced back in the second half. And I'll be honest with you, Trey, I think these two teams are going to rematch on a neutral site later in the year. I think they're the best two teams in the country, and I think obviously Tennessee's getting some love. We saw Ole Miss, the same old Ole Miss every year. Um, I don't need to see a 12-team playoff. I just need to see these two rematch again, and I wish they could do it Saturday because that would save us some time.
I mean, I hope that happens. I really hope it's not one of those. Some people are saying you might play 3 times. I just want to do it 2 times.
Yeah.
Hopefully, as a Georgia fan, we can keep some receipts here. And Kirby is good at making adjustments. 2017 against you guys. We got him back in 2021. But we do have to clean up a lot of things. Another positive is I think we got out unscathed. But I think it kind of comes back at really looking at it. I'm going to quote Brandon Adams on Dog Nation Daily. He was a little salty after the game. Is I think this came down that they had the best 2 players on the field in skill positions. Jalen Milroe, there you go, said it right, and then also Ryan Williams. And when they had to go make a play, they threw it to Ryan Williams. Georgia made adjustments, but if they play it again, they gotta somehow try to figure out how to slow them down. Use whatever they did in the second half. And then we got to convert on third down and actually get the run game going because I think we still don't have an elite running back. I thought Trevor Etienne was going to be it. I'm not sure if we got O-line issues. Also, I want to know where on a milk carton is Nate Frazier, who looked great in that Clemson game.
Yep.
I'm not sure if he's in the Dawg House. I'm not sure if he got another speeding ticket we didn't hear about. I don't know if he's injured. But that kid's electric. Not sure where he is. Didn't even get a carry. So, Kirby Smart, I want to know where Nate Frazier is. But anyway, I was thinking though, looking at it, he might not be able to block it in the on the passing downs because I know that can definitely get him in there. But yeah, looking ahead, and I also want to touch on your game. I listened to your reaction podcast. So Auburn goes down 27-21. I was kind of busy. I saw the score, was trying to keep up with it, but what was overall breakdown? I know you guys were up on Oklahoma and the Sooners, but what's your take on that?
Coaching, man. Coaching.
Right.
I'm one of those guys where I believe in what Coach Hugh Freeze says and be patient. But this is the third game that we have handed away at home inside of Jordan-Hare Stadium on a silver platter. We handed away a game to Cal. They wanted us to win that game. They were literally begging us to come back and win that game. And they did the same thing last year with us. And then Arkansas, we should have beat Arkansas. The turnovers killed us. We had Damari Austin break a big run around left end, gets down to the 3-yard line and fumbles out of the back of the end zone. It's just things like that, man. And you're just shooting yourself in the foot, and you're up 11 in the fourth quarter. And we break a 22-yard run with your best player on the field, Jarquez Hunter. He's all SEC preseason honors. He's just been that guy in the program that's been your workhorse. And you get to a 3rd and 4, and you decide to throw the ball with a quarterback who has double-digit interceptions, who threw 4 picks against Cal, who come in and threw another pick against Arkansas. It's just his time at Auburn. He had 11 picks last year, 12 picks last year. He's already got what, 4, 5, 6 picks this year, and he hadn't played every game. So the play calling there is a head scratcher, especially when you have your best player averaging 5.7 yards a carry against an Oklahoma defense that we were told we weren't going to be able to run the football on. They're one of the best defenses in the country, and we were doing it. And I got a lot of hate from Auburn fans saying, "Well, they had 8 in the box." I don't care how many people they had in the box. I'm a believer in close games, you give your best player the football. Period. Look at what Alabama did. Georgia scores, they go up. Who do they give the ball to? Ryan Williams, their best player on offense. I don't care how else you want to cut it. And we didn't do that, and it turns into a pick 6. Oklahoma takes the lead, and it was all downhill from there, man. And it's the same thing. I can point to possessions in the game where we're driving, we're on our own 40-yard line. It's first down, we break an 8-yard run, and it's 2nd and 2, and we get a substitution penalty, illegal substitution on 2nd and 2, and it backs us up. Next 2 plays, we throw the football, we're punting. It's things like that Auburn is shooting themselves in the foot with. And if you cancel out the turnovers, we're 5-0. If you take away the picks from Peyton Thorne and Hank Brown in the Arkansas game in the first half, you're 5-0. And these are games that you should win. And I think that's what's aggravating for the Auburn fan base right now is I think a lot of people get it twisted. We don't want Hugh Freeze fired. That's not what we want. We just want to see progress, because in the summer you told us things would look different, and losing the close games last year, it would change. Well, it hasn't changed. We're still finding ways to lose close games. And the Cal loss to me is something that I'm having a really hard time getting over, Trey, is losing to Cal, man. I just feel like Auburn as a football program should never lose to Cal, especially inside of Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Yeah.
And, you talk about in the summertime these close games with Georgia last year, and the 4th and goal from the 31 miracle that Alabama had to beat you.
Yeah.
It is self-inflicted wounds, man. Like we can't stop shooting ourselves in the foot. We either have a dumb penalty. We had a 3rd and 15 against Arkansas. Had Taylor Green flushed out of the pocket, Trey. A senior linebacker, Austin Keys, runs directly at him. Taylor Green's tossing the ball out of bounds to just punt, and he clocks him. Personal foul, 15 yards, automatic first down. 5 plays later, they go down and score, go up 7-0. It's things like that where Auburn fans are getting really aggravated, and you got to get it fixed. But my thing with that is how do you get it fixed? Because you're showing your identity of who you truly are. Right. You're just a bad football team who continues to make mistakes. You look good for 3 quarters. You look like you can play with anybody in the country for 3 quarters Saturday against Oklahoma. You were up double digits in the 4th quarter with 11 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And I text my co-host and I said, "Hey man," I said, "we're going to lose this game." And he said, 100% we're going to lose. He said, "We'll find a way to blow it." And sure enough, Auburn finds a way. The one positive thing I'll say about the Auburn football team right now is You do have the young receivers that you recruited. They are growing up. They are getting better week in and week out. And that defense, the 5 stars that you have brought in, the 4-star chips that you have brought in, are getting on the field early, and they're playing and they're growing up. And they're the ones out there starting to make plays and really pop for your defense. So that is one thing where, as a fan base, you hear half of Auburn fans say, "Oh, we want to fire Freeze," and then you hear the other half say, "Be patient." So where I kind of stand is just show me progress, and if it takes the babies getting on the field and making plays, and we take some licks this year, I'll take that. I just want to see it get better, and me say, okay, in a year or two, we're going to be competing.
Right. I know it's a frustrating win. You guys are 2-3, and I was looking at the schedule. I think that's crazy. You guys had 5 home games, and now you got to go on the road.
I hate it. I don't like the 5 home games in a row. I hate it.
Yeah, that was interesting. And like Georgia, we'll look at the matchup coming up. Georgia's only second one with neutral site games, and that's interesting. So, did want to ask the pulse of the program, and I did want to ask what everybody wants to know from your end. Is Hugh Freeze on the hot seat? And I was looking at him. He's 8-10, 2-3, and you got a brutal stretch. What's your thoughts as of right now? I know it was emotional loss, but is it time? And I know you kind of went through the Brian Harsin era. Yeah. So where kind of you at, Blake?
I don't think he's on the hot seat, and I don't think he's going to be fired this year. I don't care what anybody says from the Auburn fan base. I just don't see it happening. You know, Auburn has that image on them right now that they're just a place where you go and you coach 2-3 years and they fire you. And if you're a guy like Gus, they're going to fire you in the midst of a terrible situation in the middle of COVID. And it's a place where your coaching career goes to die. That's what the national media kind of puts on Auburn. And so why do it again right now? This is a roster that was basically made out into a G5 roster. If we're being 100% completely honest, Brian Harsin did this program 0 favors. He didn't recruit. He didn't even go around to the high schools in the state of Alabama and introduce himself to high school coaches. He wasn't going to coaching dinners. He wasn't going to play golf with Kirby and Saban and all those cats. Heupel, he wasn't going to do it. He was skipping those events because he didn't care. He was just there for the buyout.
Yeah. Wow.
And I don't think Hugh's on the hot seat. I think you got to give him an extra year because he's trying to build it the right way. And that's always one thing that I really do respect from Hugh. And some of our fan base gets it twisted at times, Trey, is he sat us down when he took the job and he said, "Hey, we're not going to be very good the first 2 years. I'm just letting y'all know that.
Right.
I'm just going to lay it out there. We might be better a little bit in year 2. You might see some progress, but we're not going to be great." And I think Auburn fans are so far down in the dumps, including myself, man. I want to win too, but it's been years of frustration. The last time we won the West was in 2017, and you guys clocked us in Atlanta. So there's been years of frustration. In 2019, we had a national championship defense, but we had a true freshman in Bo Nix at quarterback, and we couldn't win the big ones. And so it was just it's frustration built up and built up. And I think with the way Hugh is recruiting, that's going to save his job because he's in the top 5. And if you can hold the class together, you were in the top 10 last year. You're going to be in the top 5 this year. 2026, you're number 1 right now. So you build it through high school, just like Saban did, just like Kirby did. Don't do it the way Lane Kiffin's doing it through the portal. You build it through high school. You plug and play through the portal. And so that's one thing I do respect from Hugh is he's always been honest, man. And I don't think he's on the hot seat. Now, if we go out to Waco first game of the year next year and we lose, then we can have the discussion. But right now, no.
Gotcha. Hey, old school Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come, right?
That's a fact.
I think from a Georgia fan looking at it, I thought it was a good hire. I thought, like, all right, Mike, this might be kind of dangerous, SEC. I think you're a quarterback away. And I didn't want to ask this because I think I was talking to the Bama Factor guy last week. He goes, I think you guys had a chance of maybe getting a Cam Ward or another transfer portal guy. And Hugh said, pump the brakes. I like what we have in Peyton Thorne. What's your thoughts on that? And what do you think about Peyton Thorne going forward?
Okay, so I try to lay this out there for a lot of Auburn fans, and hopefully they agree. But Hugh didn't want to go and spend $1 million on Cam Ward. And the reason why is because you were going to lose some of those commitments in that recruiting class. Some of those guys were going to lose some NIL change. And I don't think Hugh Freeze wanted to spend $1 million on a 1-year rental, even if it meant you go 9-3 and you're on the fringe of possibly making the playoffs. That isn't what Hugh wanted to do with, like I said, build it through high school, plug and play through the portal, but you don't want to spend $1 million on a 1-year rental. And that's what Cam Ward is. So he's going to come in and play 12, 13 games for you, and then he's bouncing. And I think the way Hugh visioned it was Peyton can win me 7 to 8 games this year. He's a returning 5th-year senior. He's played a ton of football. And if we get to 7-5 and 8-4 with Peyton Thorne, then the wheels are turning. And I truly think Hugh thought that we're going to go 7-5, 8-4, and Peyton's going to graduate. And then you brought in Walker White through the high school ranks, a highly rated 4-star quarterback from Arkansas. And you're in the running for Juju Lewis and Deuce Knight, and that the Juju smoke is popped back up once again. And then you're right there for another high school quarterback, a highly rated high school quarterback. And then this coming year, you can go into the portal and get a guy if you need one. And that's the way I think he visioned it, and it hasn't worked out like that. And to your other question about how I feel about Peyton Thorne moving forward is he's the best guy that gives you the chance, man. I don't think him playing really helps us because he's a 5th-year senior, and we're just in a tough spot right now. And, nothing he does is there's the chemistry with the receivers. Like, those guys are freshmen. He does give you the best chance to win, but it's the same thing every single week. He's going to play pretty well. And then once he makes that first mistake, it's over. He's just off a cliff. And it's been the same movie over and over and over again. And it hasn't changed. And you saw it all the way up in the Oklahoma game. I was like, man, this Peyton right here, maybe getting benched helped him. And he come back, different mindset, different mentality. And then bang, there's the disastrous mistake in the 4th quarter against Oklahoma. So yeah, there's frustration on the offense too, Trey. Like, there's freshman receivers, they're running wrong routes. There's communication on what route to run. Peyton might throw a back shoulder, and the freshman, he's on the go route, and it's Peyton's looking at him saying, hey, you got to see me. Like, that's supposed to be a back shoulder there. And so there, you can tell there's frustration on the sidelines, man. So I think Peyton gives you the best opportunity to win, but I'm kind of ready for that era to be over and Auburn move on.
Yeah, I do like it that he's, sticking with, a experienced quarterback and second year in the program. So, I mean, and if he laid it down that, hey, we're not going to be good, and also we're not going to be good the next 2 years, but I also feel like with transfer portal and everything, he's kind of putting some pieces in to set it up for long term.
Yep.
So year 3 should be set up a lot better with you guys, and you guys can maybe figure out another option quarterback.
100% agree.
And I know it looks like Georgia fans and Auburn fans could use some of these after this weekend and the bad losses. VivaTequilaSeltzer.com, 0 carbs, 0 sugar. My personal favorite is watermelon. Great for tailgate. Also great during the summer around golf. 18 is great. And my personal favorite is watermelon. But check out VivaTequilaSeltzer.com. Another year being a great sponsor of the shows. 20% off is Dawg House 20. Again, that's Dawg House 20 for 20% off. VivaTequilaSeltzer.com. Also check them out on Instagram as well. Going to look at Georgia versus Auburn. Georgia finally gets a much-needed home game. Deep South's oldest rivalry. I guess I was just looking at it. I didn't realize it's, not to do salt in the wound, 7 straight. And I think, is it like 16 out of 19 or something?
Yeah, it's something.
You guys always give us fits at Jordan Hare. So I'm glad we're not playing there. That one last year, man, that was Brock Bauer show. If we didn't have that kid, we don't win that one. But early looking at the spread, 24 points, which is a lot, opened at 27.
Mm-hmm.
So on the breakdown, I'll let you look at it and maybe make a prediction for us. But 24-point spread, both teams coming off losses. So this should be an interesting matchup.
Trey, man, I honestly look at that spread, and I know Georgia's going to be fired up and ready to play after coming off that heartbreaking loss to Alabama.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with Auburn here because you're 2-3. You're coming in after a brutal home loss to Oklahoma, a game that you should have won, and now you got to go play, in my opinion, a top 2 team in the country. And they're coming off that loss, and they're going to be fired up in their stadium. I know it's a brutal rivalry, but it's a bad matchup for me because Auburn's real strength here is running the football, and I just don't know if we're going to be able to run the football on that Georgia defense. Because when we throw it to the other team a lot. So I just don't see how Auburn keeps up in this game. And like I told you at the beginning, man, the defense for Auburn, they're growing, they're getting better, but they're still babies, and there's still a lot of freshmen and sophomores out there. And so your first trip on the road for those young pups on the Auburn defense and in a hostile environment, it's just a tough matchup, in my opinion, for the Auburn Tigers. I'm not sure if they cover. I know it's a rivalry, and I know what this game means to a lot of people, but I just think you're outclassed right now if you're the Auburn Tigers. So I would, if I had to lay like a score on it, I would say like 37-10, Georgia.
Okay. I can respect that. Yeah, actually looking at the stats, so Georgia, I know coming off got burned pretty good bit by Alabama. They are bad 58th against the run, which last couple of years that's unheard of. So it should be. I do think you get a motivated, kind of pissed off Georgia team.
Yep.
My big question is, where's Carson Beck's head at? We got some receivers. Arian Smith, he had some drops, but he also leading receiver, I think, over 120 yards, touchdown. Dylan Bell, I think we're slowly getting back some of the D-line guys. Mikal Williams did play. Maybe we can get Jordan Hall back. I do think Auburn will hang around, but I'm going to kind of go with the similar. I don't think Georgia covers because I think they'll start out slow. And another one, got to start out faster, Mike Bobo. Yeah. You guys they haven't hardly scored at all in the first 7 points against Bama. It was that 3 points against Kentucky, 6 points against Clemson. I mean, just start. So that's what I want to see is get the run game going.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and make my pick. I'm going to go 34-14. I think you guys will score. You guys probably saw some things on the perimeter, or Hugh Freeze, great offensive mind. I'm going to go 34-14, not to cover. And just get right game. Then we got Mississippi State at home. Hope we can kind of blast them. So that's kind of where I'm at. But one question I did want to ask. So I know Georgia and Alabama are not your favorites. So what's the biggest rival out of those? And then maybe most hated team between those two?
The biggest rivalry is the Iron Bowl, and it's the biggest rivalry in college football, and it always will be.
Yep.
For years to come, and even when we're long gone, it'll always be Alabama and Auburn. And I hate Georgia as well, but the one thing I'll say is it's a massive rivalry. But I respect both Alabama and Georgia and the football programs that they have created over the years and the rich traditions. And so I love sitting down and watching Georgia and Alabama play football. I think it's always a great game. You're going to see two nasty defenses going at it, two physical defenses going at it. Two defenses that gang tackle. They will hit you, they will pop you, and you're gonna see a dang good football game when you watch those two. And you got to respect Kirby Smart. You had to respect Nick Saban and Kalen DeBoer. It looks like you're gonna have to respect him as well. So when I watch the game, yeah, I'm one of those where I'm like, man, they're both playing for a national championship. Like this is hell, but I'm going to sit here and I'm going to lean towards the Dogs when I watch that game. And that's what I was doing Saturday night. But, I watch Ryan Williams. I'm from the same city as Ryan Williams. And I love to see my 251 guys show out. And I think he could play in the NFL right now. He's that good.
He is, man. He could play right away. I'm sure if you ask, I don't know, New York Jets or Tennessee Titans or one of those last tiers, hey, we take him right now. Put him in slot.
And I know that's crazy to say because he's only 17, but he's that good, man. And he's out here treating college DBs like they're high schoolers. And these are 5 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars out here that he's making them look silly. And he's just that good. He's quick. The hands are great. So shout out to Ryan, man. He's special.
He is, man. Can't do anything but give him respect. And then he's one of those. I think you maybe try to contain him, let him get his, and try to stop him somewhere else.
Yeah,
that's all you can do. And then Blake, really appreciate you coming on again. We connected on College Huddle. How do we follow your content on social media?
You can follow me on X, or formerly known as Twitter, at the Uptempo Podcast right there. You can also go to YouTube, catch our show. If you're interested in some Auburn football, you can check us out at the Uptempo Podcast there. You can always get us on Apple Podcasts or all that, but what is it, iTunes, whatever it is. Spotify, all that good stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you got some great followers here, over 3,000, which is impressive. And then you guys getting close to that 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah, man.
Up tempo. That's great. And then Blake was telling me earlier he's went viral on TikTok. So maybe try to look at him on that and check him out.
Yeah, you can go check the TikTok out as well. I get on and go live and talk college football. Got a couple of Georgia fans that get in there and they give their thoughts. And, I do talk a lot about Auburn, but I also branch out and talk about other SEC games because I'm just a college football fanatic, man. I love it. I love this conference, and it's the best in the world.
Yeah, man, it is. College football is great. Yeah, really appreciate you coming on. And if you're still around, make sure and check out the Dawg House Podcast. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll try to get Blake on down the road with another podcast. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man. War Damn, I appreciate it.
There you go. War Eagle and go Dogs. Hope it's a good matchup this weekend.
Yeah.